Mary had a little lamb.
False. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon.
I have a dream.
Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
An early holiday gift on the economy. In fact, in a way, it's the gift that keeps on giving. The jobs report just in a few minutes ago, beating expectations, 199,000 new jobs added, and the unemployment rate dropped. It is low. CNN's Rahel Solomon is with us now. And Rahel, like I said, this is the gift that keeps on giving. The story of 2023 is an economy that just stayed strong.
Yeah, John, it's the story of 2023. It's the story of 2022 because, as you pointed out, this is the 35th month of job growth. So this is the gift that's been giving for almost 3 years now. So let's go through the numbers. 199,000 jobs, as you pointed out, in the month of November. To put that in perspective, the expectation had been closer to 180,000. Now, when you look at the prior 2 months, so October, that actually remained at 150,000. That was not changed. September, however, was revised lower by about 35,000. And if you look at the chart on your screen, you can see, look, this is a strong report, but you can clearly see a slowing there, a cooling there. But it is gradual in the way that I think a lot of people would like to see.
Inflation cooling, unemployment not rising. That is the sweet spot that so many economists have been looking for the last few years. And as we sit here at the end of 2023, it seems to be at least being achieved.
It is the soft landing.
They found the G-spot of the U.S. economy. It's unbelievable. It's hard to find, everybody. Hard to find, but we found it. The president of the United States, that old, elderly, cranky man, that man that you think is, has lost his marbles, he found the G-spot. Okay, deal with it. Cope. And happy Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Happy Hanukkah. Yes, it's a holiday that's spelled like Scrabble pieces, and it's one of those that when you say it out loud, it sounds like you swallowed a bug. Please do not perform the Heimlich maneuver on any of your friends who are wishing you a happy Hanukkah this year, okay? Please don't, because we know just exactly how much phlegm is a vowel in Hebrew, and we know exactly how much phlegm we need to work up in order to wish you a proper, happy, healthy Hanukkah, okay? So, don't worry. But that is an amazing gift. That is unbelievable. That is like, I'm telling you, I've been hearing from, a lot of people over a period of, I'd say about 2 weeks now, where people are saying, I don't know why you're saying the economy is good. I think people don't feel it. I think people just, and I personally think people are whiny little bastards. Is what it is. Because all of the indicators, every GDP growth, 5.2%. 5.2%. Now, didn't, Mr. America First, translation, Mr. Hey, I'm a Nazi appeaser? Because that's where America First comes from. You understand that, right? It's that Lindbergh thing. Charles Lindbergh, he was a Nazi sympathizer, and America First was one of those, handles for isolationists, people that did not want to beat back the Nazi invasion in Europe, which is, now we have a Putin invasion in Europe. But the isolationists and the Trumpers and also Ronald Reagan used America First as a slogan to signal to white supremacists, to signal to Nazi embracers, to signal to even Nazi lovers, people that post on, now it's social media message boards and it's, Twitter. Twitter. Elon's considering giving Alex Jones back his account. I mean, how many people are going to have to sue him before people realize that guy is radioactive poison? I don't know. But anyway, so here we are in the middle of an amazing period of growth, an amazing period of low unemployment, an amazing period of, the best recovery in the world after COVID. And they just don't want to give Joe Biden any credit for anything. You know what inflation was last month? Do you know what it was? Anybody? Pressure of a number? Anybody know? Anybody? That's right, 0. It was 0. That's what inflation was last month. 0 is what it was. And wage growth, 5%. That's the Atlanta Fed's number, 5%. Wages have been beating inflation for many, 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 many months now. Here's a little factoid. Simon Rosenberg, who is a pollster, basically, and has been working with polling and economic data for over 30 years, he's trying to tell you that the economy is remarkably strong, period, stop the bull crap, except he says it. If you want to follow him, he's on Substack, and the guy is, like the only pollster I think that ever gets anything right anymore, because polls are wrong all the time, and that's what we say after we get the results of a free and fair election. Why were the polls so wrong? Because they were only calling their friends and charging people for that information. That's it. That's pretty much it. But anyway, he said that the American economy right now is one of the best run economies in decades. And he's looking through all the data and saying facts are facts. And the game is somehow to say otherwise. That's like the big game. And it's become a ridiculous and embarrassing game that's being played by various media outlets, in order to keep it a horse race for, 2024, for the next election, to keep it like, kind of like a choice between two perfectly reasonable, good nominees. It's really embarrassing at this point. But here's a great stat he came up with. A Gen Z, okay? Are you listening, Gen Z? Could you stop screaming about, Jews will not replace us for a brief moment? Can you stop being anti-Semitic for just a half a second so I could tell you something? Thank you. Gen Z home ownership matches all previous generations. You would think that they, just couldn't figure it out, that they just couldn't find a way, that things are just so, it's just so hard for poor little, it's not true. It's not true. It's a fake, kind of a feeling. And that's why I say, F your feelings. I mean, really, honestly, median wealth in this country is up 37% from 2020 to 2022. Those are the Biden years. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so everybody was waiting for a new deal. Everybody was waiting for the fair deal. This is the big deal. It's a big effing deal, as Joe likes to say. 37% median wealth is up from 20 to 22. Median wealth for 18 to 34-year-olds more than doubled in this same period. You would never know it from watching the TV. You would never know it from listening to Rumble or Steve Bannon or Steve Miller or any of the Steves. Really, we have the lowest uninsured rate in history in this country, meaning health coverage. People are insured. Is it too expensive? I think it is. I think it is. I think there's lots of room to make this better. But what are they running on now, the other side? Repeal and replace Obamacare. I mean, honestly, it's like they're such retreads that the economy is going to go back to what it was, with broken supply chains, with no, with a ton of inequality. And this is what I was saying to a lovely caller yesterday from Mississippi. She was saying, I think her name was Verdina, and she was saying that she couldn't understand why African Americans, are so quick to smash and trash Joe Biden, and that they're peeling off in droves and they're not going to vote for him. And I'm like, yeah, because, Trump, who hates you, is such a better pick for you, right? Trump, who's going to create another unequal economy where all the growth is at the top and everyone else can go to hell, over Joe Biden, who has created, and what I told her was this little factoid. This is the most equitable, meaning the most equal recovery America has ever seen. Because of the investment in red states, because of the investment in rural places, because of the investment with the Inflation Reduction Act, because of the investment in the Infrastructure Act, right? Because the investment was literally concentrated on places that looked like crap, that felt like crap, that were doing crap, so that they wouldn't be crap anymore, right? Actually made this a very equal recovery, because he is the president of all America.
All things Randy at RandyRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
There hasn't been a positive thing happen in this administration since it came about.
Now, Teddy Roosevelt had the square deal. FDR had the New Deal. Truman had the fair deal. What President Biden, Democrats, all of us have accomplished in the last few years is a big deal.
Results matter. Inflation now is down to 3.2%. Wages are up to 4.4%. The economy is booming, 5.2% GDP growth in the last quarter.
With a gallon of gas now at the lowest Thanksgiving price since 2020. Prices for gasoline down 9 straight weeks.
By so many measures, the economy is in good shape. Unemployment near 50-year lows. Wages going up. The economy, it is growing. Inflation, it is slowing.
Because of the CHIPS and Science Act, one of the most significant economic plans since FDR. I'm proud of the work Biden and Harris have done.
President Biden and his team worked 24/7 with partners in the region to make sure that this release was possible. This is a president who is right now showing the American people what real leadership looks like.
It's amazing how many times in his career Joe Biden has been counted out, only to come back and prove the critics wrong.
I know nothing.
Yeah, that's right. So they would like for you to believe that nothing is going well, nothing is going right, that America has lost its American dream, that, only he alone could fix it, and that we need fixing or whatever. I mean, this is such bull crap. It is so, it's so obvious, and it's so provably false that nothing good has happened since Joe Biden has become president. I mean, everything good has happened since Joe Biden has become president, okay? It's like we're setting records in oil and renewable energy production. I mean, you talk about having your cake and eating it too. We are literally second to none in oil and renewable energy production. The stock market's doing really well. You know what Joe Biden keeps on doing too? So far, he's reversed about $127 billion in student loan debt, all by his lonesome. We got a Congress that is just, they stick their heels in. They're stubborn. They don't care about the American people. The Republican Party reminds me of Netanyahu over there, okay? They're crazy. They shoot from the hip. They don't give a damn who suffers as long as it elevates their careers, as long as it, plays into their view, their worldview. I mean, it's so unbelievable. So now, I'm looking at what's going on over there. So the hostages that have been released from Gaza and are back in Israel, they're saying, what is wrong with go get the other hostages? Some of the hostages are their husbands. Some of the hostages are their, cousins or their brothers or this. They're like, go get the hostages. And today I saw another report on the TV of a UN, I guess it was a former ambassador to Israel, actually sitting on the television saying he hates to say this, but Netanyahu might sacrifice the hostages too if it suits his political goal of, destroying the entire Gaza Strip. So there's something very, very kin-like about Donald Trump and the right wing, in over there, and the right wing in Hungary, and the right wing in Russia, and the right, they're all just so not into you, and I don't know how else to explain it. I really don't. And then you have the Democratic presidents, some do better than others, no doubt about it, but this one is especially awesome. This one has an investment agenda that has caused growth and innovation and opportunities for American workers that didn't have them before and will have them for decades to come. Oh, that sucks. That's bad. His son's a drug addict. Yes, I know that. I know that. So all the corporate media is reporting on today is that, Hunter Biden had a plea deal that was offered to him, right? And it was a plea deal on two things. It was a plea deal on his failing to pay his taxes on time. Just consider this. His taxes were paid in full and have been paid in full for 2 years now. Okay? Just need for you to keep that in the front of your cerebellum. Okay, just use that as an operating fact because it's true. So he had this plea deal on the table where he would plead guilty to not filing his taxes on time, although they have been paid since, right? And a whole host of other things that he did that were in violation of the tax code, which he has since tried to make amends for by paying those taxes and admitting that he did do these bad things because he was a drug addict, right? And the other thing was the gun charge in Maryland, the gun charge, because, you can't, apparently it can't even be a habitual user of marijuana in some places and get a gun. It's just crazy. But he was obviously a little cracky. He was a crackhead. He was a big crackhead, actually. And so he lied on a federal application about not being a drug addict and getting a gun. Well, his girlfriend threw the gun away. I think 9 days it took her to know that he had a gun and to throw it in the trash and whatever. But he had pled guilty to that too. The judge rejected that plea agreement, remember? The judge rejected the plea agreement because the remedy that was suggested in the plea deal was that she oversee the therapy, let's call it, right, that he would have to go through in order to comply with the plea agreement, right? He would have to go and not only, make restitution if he hadn't, but the tax thing was done. But on the gun thing, he would have to go to like some classes. And she didn't want to oversee that. So she said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not accepting it. Well, the Republican Party twisted that story to the point where you wouldn't even recognize it was that story. You wouldn't have even known it. It was a shadow of its former self, okay? And started screaming at this Trump-appointed independent, special, he was a U.S. attorney at the time, right? Mr. Weiss started screaming at him. All right, that he needed to charge Hunter Biden with the full throttle and charge him in California. And, but he, in order to do that, he needed to be more than the U.S. attorney for Maryland. He needed to have special prosecutor status. He needed to be an independent counsel, a special prosecutor. So Merrick Garland, seeing the outrage at that the Republican Party had about Mr. Weiss, a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney that Joe Biden kept on to finish the investigation into his son, no matter where the chips fell. Okay? Didn't interfere in it at all. So Weiss needed to be made a special counsel in order for him to have the ability to charge Hunter Biden in California where he lives. Merrick Garland gave him that. Merrick Garland gave him the office of special counsel so he could charge him in California. And Mr. Weiss, feeling the pressure from his own freaking party, went ahead and charged him with the same exact things that, he's already paid and made restitution for. So I'm supposed to be alerted because I'm the media about this miscreant Hunter Biden and somehow, I don't know, tie Joe Biden's fabulous economy and mark it as a failure because Hunter Biden paid his taxes but late?
Speak to Randy. Call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
All right, everybody. Happy Friday to you. Happy Hanukkah to you. Happy holiday season to you. And happy Free Speech TV Winter Pledge Drive to you. So if you're a daily viewer, you know that yesterday every donation was matched dollar for dollar, and we did really well with that. I mean, seriously well. So if you helped us yesterday, just know that you did a fabulous job. We raised a good amount of money for 2024 so that we'll have money for our Get Out the Vote campaign and for election coverage. So thank you if you were somebody who made a difference. Now, if you weren't somebody that made a difference yesterday, or if you're somebody that wants to do it again, today's a good day for you. It's actually the day. Remember yesterday I told you there'll be more opportunities because with the frontline funders were awesome this particular pledge drive. So check this out. Today only, the frontline funders are going to match your donation not once, but twice. Yeah, not just dollar for dollar, but dollar for $2, okay? So if you gave $20 today, it would actually be $60. You understand? If you gave a $100 donation today, we would receive $300. Free Speech TV, the not-for-profit, would receive $300. So whether you can make a small or a larger gift, it will count 3 times today. You and your commitment, that's all that really matters the most today. So the more people who join, the stronger that will be, and the better our coverage of, up to the election day will be, and following that vote and all those things. So we're working very, very hard to challenge the growing, unbelievable wave of misinformation and disinformation and negative information and, just crazy hatred that's all permeating this country right now. We're doing our level best. So if you believe that that is a job that needs to be well done, please visit us at freespeech.org or call us now at 877-378-8669. The QR code will work. It'll take you right to our website, freespeech.org. You can type, you can use the QR code, whatever you like, or if you want to text, that's simple too. Just dial 44321, 44321 like a countdown, and then put the letters FSTV in, and we'll send you a secure link, and you can make your one-time or recurring donation, whatever you feel comfortable with that way. So thank you so very much. You can, do it right now, and we appreciate you very much. All right, Greg in North Carolina.
Yeah, I want a couple of things, Randy. First of all, Hunter didn't pay his taxes. He got a sweetheart loan from a media lawyer in Los Angeles. Kevin
So what?
Morris,
His
to pay the
taxes,
bill.
are paid. He owes nothing.
Yeah, by somebody else.
So
by
what?
Somebody else. But,
So why do you care who paid his taxes for him?
okay, so you get a sweetheart loan. If Trump's doing, Biden's
so did
doing so
Donald
well,
Trump. What's wrong with you? Trump got a sweetheart loan from Deutsche Bank. That's why he's on trial. I mean, do you think that Donald Trump got favorable
talk
loan?
over me, Joyce, or do I get to talk to you?
No, I'm sick of you. I despise you.
He just is so charming every single time.
You know what? Because he never shuts up. He just doesn't. Nothing is ever good. Nothing is ever good.
You should hear me try to wrangle him, because I
don't wrangle. Just put him through. I mean, we know who he is. We know what he does. He's a horror show of a person.
If that's him calling back, you want to?
Yeah. Are you going to talk, or are you going to listen? What are you going to do? Hello? That's not him. There's no one there.
I was saying if it's him, because I saw it coming back. So
Gary in Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Randy, thank you for pushing that button. Nobody wants to hear that.
Nobody.
No. All right. Before I forget, I got two things, if you can remind me. One is going to be about paying taxes. The other one is perception is reality. What that means is, regardless of what a tremendous job Joe Biden is doing, like you say, maybe the best president ever in our lifetime, okay? It doesn't matter to somebody who perceives him as being a doddering old fool who can't do anything but wet his pants. And that's what the right wing is trying to make him look like. And regardless of what he does, that's what they're going to think of him.
Well, I'm not looking for Republicans to vote for Joe Biden.
I'm not either,
okay.
but we may need a few.
I am looking for Gen Z. I'm looking for African Americans. I'm looking for Latinos. I'm looking for, Americans of, the independent persuasion. To actually feel the success, to actually look at this and accept that we're doing well in spite of social media, in spite of media, in spite of, harping on Hunter Biden's taxes, which, who cares?
There's a million people that have tax problems.
Right.
All right. Now, on this tax...
There's an entire industry that negotiates with
That's
the IRS
exactly what I was just going to tell you.
to get you a sweetheart deal.
Randy, when I listen to right-wing radio, which I try to do from time to time just so I know what's going on, you can't believe how many radio commercials there are about not paying your taxes, and you call this 800 number and you talk to some kind of an expert who's going to get you to pay maybe 5% or 10% of what you owe.
Optima Tax Relief. Listen, I listen.
Yeah, that's it.
I listen to the radio too. Okay, I listen to it going home. I listen to it in my car. And
Do you ever
obviously,
obviously,
people are able to negotiate deals with the IRS legally. So why is Hunter any different? Because he was a crackhead and he doesn't deserve to be sober now?
No, his name is Biden.
Right. Right.
Really pisses you off,
Well, look, I mean, the idea that, that people are lying about it's the economy, right? So that's another thing that we all have to appreciate. Everybody was saying, oh, well, the reason why we're voting for Donald Trump is the economy. It's the economy. It's the economy. Well, it's not. They're lying to themselves, or they're lying to me, or they're lying to their friends.
And I have a feeling about these prices that are still higher than they were maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It's because of corporate greed. These grocery stores, et cetera, have found out that, guess what? People have to eat. And so they always competed with each other for low prices. Now they realize they can charge an extra 20 or 30%. Customers are going to keep coming back. So they're just gouging us and making a better profit than they were used to making. Has nothing to do with inflation.
Okay, so the Democrats tried to pass an anti-gouging bill, and the Republicans voted against it. They're not into protecting people from, the egg industry that gouged people and charged them $17 million more than they should have been charging, with supply and demand being what it is. They did the same thing with chicken. And if you live in Washington State, by the way, you have a fabulous attorney general there who brought a case against the chicken gouging, the chicken producers. And it was, they're going to start distributing checks to people whose income is low enough to qualify for being damaged by the gouging on chicken prices.
Good.
Right. So, I mean, who's on the side of, ordinary working people and who isn't?
That's obvious.
And why do I care about Hunter Biden's taxes? I don't.
I don't either.
Right.
I mean, I have nothing against the guy.
So
I have
listen,
nothing
I
for
was
the
thinking
guy.
of you today. I was thinking of you today because you were, asking me yesterday if I thought that the that Nikki Haley could be the VP pick for Donald Trump because he needs her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, today there is a lot of information about how he's literally considering Tucker Carlson for his vice president.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Ugh.
Yeah. So like I said to you yesterday, I don't
Thanks
think.
for making me sick.
Well, they're looking for somebody who will, not certify the results of the election should he lose. And
Imagine Trump keeling over and having Tucker Carlson be the president of the United States.
he says he's got common sense.
This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
Hunter Biden, son of the President of the United States, now indicted on 9 counts related to his taxes. That includes 3 felony counts and 6 misdemeanors, all on the recommendation of a federal grand jury in the state of California. The president's son is accused of avoiding payment actively of more than $1 million in taxes to the IRS. They have since been paid, however. Catherine Herridge has been closely following this story, and she's in Washington for us. Catherine, big development. Good morning.
Good morning, Tony. According to a letter obtained by CBS News, Hunter Biden's legal team tried to meet with federal prosecutors earlier this week, but the meeting never happened. And the charges were filed late last night. The special counsel confirmed this investigation is ongoing.
The sprawling indictment brought by special counsel David Weiss alleges Hunter Biden engaged in a 4-year scheme to avoid paying at least $1.4 million in federal taxes.
Hunter Biden is facing very serious charges here.
The president's son is accused of taking false business deductions to reduce his tax liability. The indictment alleges he spent this money on drugs, escorts, and girlfriends, luxury hotels, and exotic cars.
One of the things I think that jumps out from the indictment is that Hunter Biden allegedly knew exactly what he was doing.
In July, at a Delaware court, a plea agreement for lesser charges collapsed over whether the deal would end Hunter Biden's legal problems. 2 months later, felony gun charges were filed in the same courthouse, alleging he lied about his drug use to purchase a gun in 2018. He pleaded not guilty.
The previous plea deal fell apart in part because the judge didn't like that the gun charges were bundled in with the tax charges, and in part because there wasn't a meeting of the minds as to whether or not future charges could come.
The new tax charges were filed in California because he lived there when the alleged crimes were committed. In a statement Hunter Biden's attorney sent, based on the facts and the law, if Hunter's name was anything other than Biden, the charges in Delaware and now California would not have been brought.
I agree. I absolutely agree. 100% I do. I mean, it's unbelievable to me that, you have a person who has paid their taxes. Apparently, we have a caller that doesn't like how he was able to pay his tax bill. He doesn't like how that happened. But it happened. He owes nothing. I mean, that's just a fact. And he's not been charged with any, mischievous, money to pay the. So, you can read your social media. You could read your Washington Examiner. You could read your New York Post. You could read any Murdoch publication you like and think something bad should have been charged but was not charged after a 5-year investigation into this person produced misdemeanor charges and a plea deal that a judge then rejected so that he then pled not guilty so he could have a trial. You know what's really interesting, too? Hunter Biden is being hunted by the House of Representatives, the Republicans in the House of Representatives. He's being hunted by them, and a subpoena for his testimony has been issued by the Oversight Committee for a person who has no job in the United States government, for a person who's never had a job in the United States government, a person who is not eligible for impeachment, by virtue of our U.S. Constitution, a person who could never be impeached from anything because that person doesn't even work for the government, in the government. It's amazing. But when Hunter Biden was asked to come and testify, he said he would. He said, yes, I will be sworn and I will come and I will answer all your questions, but not in private, not behind closed doors. I want to answer your questions in public. I want this to be as transparent as possible. I will be under oath. I will be sworn. You can ask me whatever you want. You can keep me there for 11 hours like you did to Hillary Clinton. You can badger me. You can yell at me. You can scream at me. You can accuse me. But let me do this in public. And they said, no, we don't want you to come and tell your story in public, even if it's embarrassing, even if it's true, even if it's, admitting that you avoided paying your taxes for 2 years. Even if it's that you lied on a federal gun application. Because if he's sworn, he will have to tell the truth about everything that happened, or he would be, facing perjury charges. Like Rudy Giuliani, who also never worked for the government, in the Trump administration, went to state legislatures and lied to them, and now he's in trouble, right? So the same thing would happen to Hunter. But they don't want him to testify in public. No. They only want him to testify in private so that they could spin it in a way that makes Hunter Biden look even worse than Hunter Biden looks to Republicans. As if their families have never experienced anybody with an addiction problem ever getting sober and trying very hard to stay that way, even when the entire full force of an American party that has control and a majority in the U.S. House of Representatives is coming down on you. He's still maintaining his sobriety. Good for him. But, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing that, obviously the amazing amount of stuff that he's been charged with now. It's so overwhelming. It's so, most of us would crumble if we got indicted for, 3 felonies having to do with taxes. I can hear you screaming in there. Oh, he's having his own show. Anyway, so, what in the world does that have to do with who you vote for? That's what because, I will say he's charged with 3 felonies, 6 misdemeanors, which is a lot. It's a big number. It's 9 charges, 3 felonies, 6 misdemeanors. It's not Trump numbers. Trump's 91 felonies, all felonies. It's not Trump numbers. But tell me how Hunter Biden and not paying his taxes in a timely fashion is a reason to vote for Donald Trump, who is under 91 felony charges, facing 91 felony charges in 4 different jurisdictions. Tell me how that works in your head. I don't think you can, so don't call me. I can hear you screaming. Number one, I've been talking to you.
Well, you saw I was on the phone, so it's tough for me.
No, I hear you on the phone is what I was saying.
Well, it's Greg. It's Greg again, and he's calling back, and I'm trying to...
Greg, what do you want? Why are you doing this to him?
Randy, why don't you have something more entertaining where I didn't do anything derogatory. I didn't say anything vulgar.
Nobody wants to hear from you. Everybody's very familiar with your point of view, and nobody thinks you have a legit point. My audience is not interested
Randy, I'm
in
just
you.
reading stuff from Real Clear Politics.
Where are you reading
stuff
about what? What is your beef with Hunter? Like specifically, why is Hunter Biden's not paying taxes for 2 years important to you?
Because, first of all, the statute of limitations ran on all the other charges prior to 2016, so he had more charges. Everything that's now he's being charged for between
Who cares?
2016 and 2019.
Jared Kushner walked away with
Yes,
$1 billion from the Saudis, okay? And that doesn't even enter into your, hey, maybe there is a bunch of people that make money off of their parents and their in-laws.
Randy, was he charged for tax evasion, or did he report that income? I'm not familiar, because Hunter didn't report the income.
He got $2 billion after being a senior advisor to a president of the United States, and you don't think that's an in-kind contribution? You don't think that was a quid pro quo? You don't think that that's espionage? You think that's a tax matter? You think that's a tax matter? So,
Merrick Garland is the Attorney General, Randy. Let him charge him. If he thinks there's a case, let him bring the charges.
I can't wait.
What's wrong with that?
So what is the deal with Hunter?
Charges.
So what's the deal with Hunter Biden? Why is it so upsetting to you?
Well, the reason it's upsetting to me is we all pay taxes. And first of all,
we don't all pay taxes, number one. That's why Gary was telling you, and you don't want to hear it, but that every other commercial on, AM radio is for, Optima tax relief, for people who can't pay their taxes, for people that won't pay their taxes. You could call up and you can negotiate a tax price.
That's true, but you have to file. You have to file. Hunter never filed.
He did, and he paid his taxes. That's what I don't understand about you.
He paid them late.
But they're paid, and he's being charged
by somebody else.
Who cares? Why do you care? Why do you care if his tax bill's been paid and it's been paid by another person? Why do you care? Who
I'm just
cares?
saying that his prior to 2016
Who cares? His tax bill
paid.
is paid, which is why nobody wants to hear from you. You just talk in circles. It's always about somebody else, and it's always about this, and it's always his taxes were paid. They've been paid for 2 long years, okay? And that's that. There is nothing to see here. It's just the media is telling you, you need to be upset. You need to say, why, if he wasn't a Biden, he would be in jail. No, if he wasn't a Biden, he wouldn't be charged because his taxes were paid.
Mary had a little lamb. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon.
I have a dream.
Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
Sometimes I think the American people, and the pain has to be real. The American people have to experience pain for them to realize just how destructive this administration is. And I think the American people are seeing it. Do I want to see gas go to $8? Well, if it does, I'll say, well, America, you earned it. You voted for this asshat.
That's a representative. That's a member of Congress, Troy Nehls from Texas, saying, things are too good. Things are too good. America needs to suffer. America needs to have pain inflicted on it. And if gas has to go to $8 a barrel or $8 a gallon, right, if it has to go over $100 a barrel, well, then let it happen because, you voted for this. This is a member of Congress. First of all, the President of the United States or anybody in the United States does not set the price per barrel. We are not an OPEC nation. That's number one. Number two, gas is below $3 here. Yesterday I saw it $2.90. $2.90, okay? And he is so livid because the economy is good, growth is good, unemployment is down, wages are up, inflation is down. Every indication is that Gen Z is doing well. Gen X is doing well. The millennials are doing, they're millennials. It's Brett. Jessica's doing well. She's doing great. But I mean, honestly, and so they're just wishing pain upon ye. They're wishing for pain and devastation and destruction and a bad economy and all that crap. They are such trolly people. It's always like that. When things are good, they go, yeah, but they could get bad. When this one over here paid his taxes, well, he didn't pay them on time. Well, he paid his taxes. Well, I don't think he paid them. What do you mean you don't think he did? Do you have the check? Do you know? Because everything I'm seeing is he paid his taxes 2 years ago. And this is like a reason for you to vote for a guy who literally was called out for being a tax fraud, is on trial right now for being a tax cheat, an insurance cheat, a guy who inflates the value of his properties for the purpose of insurance and deflates the value of his properties for the purpose of taxation. And somehow that's all lost on you, and you just want to call me and complain about somebody who isn't running for president. During a period in his life for which he's been investigated for more than 5 years now, but during a period in his life when he self-admits that he was a crackhead making really bad decisions and really bad choices, and is now recovering and has been for over 2 years now, sober. And somehow he is the person that you need to vote against, so you could vote and feel like your conscience is clear to vote for the guy who is on trial right now in New York for tax fraud, who is running for president, who was president. And his son-in-law, you don't get this? His son-in-law was senior advisor to the president of the United States. Okay, Donald Trump's son-in-law and his daughter were both senior advisors. I mean, you talk about nepotism and all this crap, and you wish Hunter Biden could be accused of being, part of the Biden family's nepotism and all. Holy crap, man. Because what's staring you in the face is the Trump family that actually was out and about and practicing nepotism. So senior advisor to the president of the United States, Ivanka, goes on Air Force One with her father to China, walks out of China with patents for her shoes and her pocketbooks and her jewelry and her clothing. Okay. But that can't be a quid pro quo in your head because nobody is prosecuting her. Okay. So you've got a political prosecution against Hunter Biden. So if that's the case, then we should have political prosecutions against Ivanka. All right. So you see how you've gone all fascist. Okay. And then you've got Jared Kushner, who was also senior advisor to the president of the United States, a guy who wasn't able to qualify for a security clearance. The entire intelligence apparatus in this country, and there are 16 different people, 16 different agencies that are responsible for national intelligence, the CIA, the NSA, on and on it goes, the DNI, okay? They all weighed in on whether or not Jared should qualify for a clearance after his father-in-law made him a senior advisor to the president of the United States. Jared wanted the presidential daily briefing. That is what he was interested in getting. And the intelligence apparatus of this country said, no, he owes over $1 billion. Okay, he's in debt up to his eyeballs. This guy is ripe for bribery and other things. And if you gave him our secrets, he would actually hand them off for money, which he did. The minute he wasn't in an administration, he got paid. He got paid $2 billion from the Saudis. What did he give the Saudis? Don't you remember he took a secret trip to Saudi Arabia, didn't tell anybody he was going? This was at a time when bin Salman was trying to be the next king of Saudi Arabia, but he wasn't in line, in the succession line. He wasn't, the next in line or the third in line or the fifth in line. But he wanted it, and he understood that his family didn't want him to be king of Saudi Arabia, and so they were plotting against him. And Jared knew this because he was getting the presidential daily briefing. Why was he getting it if the people in the intelligence, part of our country said no? Because the president of the United States can override anything, any advice that he gets from anybody, and he did. Donald Trump literally overrode the opinion of the intelligence operators in this country, the intelligence agencies in this country, and gave his son-in-law a security clearance when nobody thought he should have one. Nobody responsible. He went over to Saudi Arabia on a secret trip, and he told, I'm sure he took the list, because the list of people, and this story that I'm telling you was in the presidential daily briefing, about how bin Salman was being plotted against in his own family to not become the next king of Saudi Arabia. So bin Salman got the names, and he rounded them all up. Is any of this ringing a bell for you, my friend? Rounded them all up and kidnapped them and took them and held them hostage in, oh my God, the Ritz-Carlton in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia. He killed one of them as an example to the others, okay, and then continued to hold them hostage until they got out of his way. And then, in some weird effort to stop any bad publicity about this, he actually followed a Washington Post columnist named Jamal Khashoggi to the embassy in Turkey and kidnapped him and had him dismembered with a bone saw by a doctor and a team of assassins. Did Hunter Biden do anything remotely like that? Is he friends with anybody who did anything remotely like? I mean, I don't even know what it is that upsets you about poor Hunter being a drug addict. I don't know if you're upset because he suffered or if you're upset because he was a crackhead and you hate crackheads. I have no idea what your beef with that person is. But his taxes are paid in full, and they have been paid in full since 2021. So shut up already about how upset and incensed you are. You do realize that the Biden administration is probably getting all their ducks in a row in the case that they can prove that Jared got paid off by the Saudis. And you know that is so sensitive that there would probably be some negotiation in back channels about whether or not that guy gets to be the king of Saudi Arabia or not, rather than prosecute Jared, because that is the way the freaking world works, you miscreant. You would have to be in complete and utter denial about every damn thing I just said, which is all totally Googleable and was written about by the Washington Post, the New York Times, and other news outlets.
All things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
Why won't he release his tax returns? And I think there may be a couple of reasons. First, maybe he's not as rich as he says he is. Second, maybe he's not as charitable as he claims to be. Third, we don't know all of his business dealings, but we have been told through investigative reporting that he owes about $650 million to Wall Street and foreign banks. Or maybe he doesn't want the American people, all of you watching tonight, to know that he's paid nothing in federal taxes, because the only years that anybody's ever seen were a couple of years when he had to turn them over to state authorities when he was trying to get a casino license, and they showed he didn't pay any federal income tax. So
that makes
if
me
he's
smart.
paid zero.
That makes him smart. So if we're going to apply the same logic here, meaning I'm going to accept that that's the truth about why he didn't pay any taxes. He didn't owe any taxes. Okay, let's just say that that's true, but it's not. That's why he's on trial. Okay, but if we're going to apply the same logic here, Mr. Greg, then doesn't that make Hunter really smart if he had someone else pay his taxes? That makes him seriously smart.
You know what? I'm going to do a little body shaming for you. I'm going to take that heat for just a second.
What?
After seeing that clip, that was a lot of Big Macs ago. He looked darn right svelte. He looked so thin in that clip. I don't know if
you
it's
mean
just
as compared to now?
Yes, yes. That was a whole lot of roast beef sandwiches ago.
Actually, it's burnt steaks and well done burgers with ketchup on them. That's I don't know. I don't know what the appeal is, except the freedom to hate whoever he hates, and you get to hate a lot, and you get to hate out loud, and you get to have grievances and complain about Hunter Biden apparently, which is Greg's wheelhouse. But Greg, if Hunter Biden's taxes were paid by some benefactor or some person, that makes him really smart in your Republican world. Because what else are Republicans about? What are they about? Except Second Amendment rights, owning as many guns as you could possibly fit into your home, and not paying your taxes. It's the Republican way. So patriotic. People are just so... And he thinks he's very clever. This is the thing. He thinks he's lawyering me. He thinks he's very, very clever with the arguments. But they all fall apart under scrutiny.
And that's actually what I told him. If you drop the smarminess, stop trying to gaslight her. Just have a debate and get your point across.
Right. So here is a person who prosecutors were willing to charge with misdemeanors because his taxes are paid in full and have been for 2 years. And now, under pressure from a Republican, that Merrick Garland gave him, special prosecutor status so he could go to California. You know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen, Greg. And my God, I hope you'll call me this day. Hunter Biden will either be acquitted because his taxes are paid in full, or, and this is probably what will happen, Greg, he will plea again to misdemeanors. And this time it will be accepted. You know why? Because the gun charge will be in Delaware and the tax charge will be in California. And in California, he could plead to a misdemeanor, and that will be the end of that. Okay. Joe in New York.
Randy, how you doing?
Hey.
I'm a regular Randy rocker. Just think about Hunter Biden, right? Why is it that Hunter Biden offered to testify under oath and in public, but the Republicans, they just clapped out again?
Yeah.
They got no case.
None.
They're $3 bill, they're phony.
Yes.
And in closing, I'm down with your program anyway, but America has to make a choice between freedom and fascism. Any vote that's for anybody except Joe Biden is a vote for Trump. You don't have the option of sitting on your butt. You don't have the option to vote for a third party. Any vote for anybody but Joe Biden is a vote for Donald Trump. Either freedom or fascism. You have a good one, Randy.
Thank you, Joe. Seth in L.A. Oh, wait. Seth in L.A.
Hey, Randy.
Hi.
Thank goddess. You made my point. Two things. What is the Republican Party about, Greg? One, tax cuts for the wealthy. Because all they did in the Trump administration, the one thing they did was made those tax cuts for the wealthy. And now what are they trying to do? They're trying to defund the IRS so that they can't catch wealthy tax cheats.
Nice.
So that is what the party is about. So you should not be upset that a rich man like Hunter didn't pay his taxes. And now let's talk about the gun issue. They're after him, Greg, you're after him because of the gun. Well, your party, Greg, your motto is if you have a pulse, you should have a gun, whether it be a pistol, an automatic weapon of war. So everything you are barking about, Greg, is everything your party stands for, except if your last name is Biden.
Bingo.
And you can't face the truth. I don't know, Greg, when you look in the mirror, I don't know what you see. Because when you're looking out at the world, you are seeing mirages. I don't know what you're on, but truth eludes you.
I think Greg has a little bit of power in his little burb wherever he lives. I get the feeling he's a lawyer. The way Howard's a lawyer. They lawyer you. They tried to lawyer you. Doesn't make them right, okay? And you should never, ever, cave in because they sound like they're making a real argument when it folds. It just falls apart under scrutiny all the time, okay? But they still lawyer you. It's what they do.
Yeah.
It's how they are. But
but
it's so interesting about the guns, though, that there are no gun laws for him, only for Hunter Biden. And the gun law that they want to enforce is the one that says Hunter Biden can't have a gun. Right.
Because the first thing Trump did when he was in office, if we remember, was
mental illness. Yeah.
The Obama thing about mental illness, people with mental illness can't own a gun.
Right.
And that was the very first thing Trump did.
Yeah.
So, they just try to be, so swarmy. They try to sound so intellectual, kind of like Mike Johnson talking about, trying to sound so calm and easy when he's talking about the most insane and irrational things. And it's like I'm going to put you in my cell with the way I speak. But they're, it's like they have no case, Randy. And every day this Republican Congress shows us more and more and more why we're going to have a Democratic Congress in 2024.
Yeah.
It's just we knew it was going to be wacky. Did anybody think it would be this wacky? Like, they just keep out-whacking themselves.
Yeah.
And really, everything they're doing is shooting themselves in the foot, and it's going to make us in power. And Randy, the truth is going to come through, and that's what we got to hold on to. And they're hoping this will be like the Hillary email thing, the Hunter Biden.
Well, it's just so interesting that we were talking about this unbelievably great booming economy, and I was saying how it's like a big effing deal. And the very first call, was but Hunter Biden. Right. I mean, so Greg, it's not about the economy then, is it? No, it's not. It's about fighting. It's about grievance. It's about, somebody maybe getting away with something that you can't get away with.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randy, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
Woo, you saved it. All right, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy double match day. Double match day. So, $100 today actually causes Free Speech TV to receive $300 because the frontline funders are double matching any amount that you would give up to $10,000, right? So $1 is $3, $3 is $9, $100 is $300, and on it goes. This is an amazing thing, and it's today only. Your donation, it's not just once. It's not just twice, it's 3 times, okay? So it's amazing. So small, large gift, whatever you can do, it's a great day to do it. I mean, seriously, a great time to do it. Give us a call at 877-378-8669 with your pledge. Large, small, something in the middle, it'd be fine. It's your commitment that matters the most. What we're trying to do here, and the reason why the frontline funders are responding this way, is because we're trying to save up money for our Get Out the Vote efforts in this year, in this election year, and also for our election coverage come November. Okay, so we're all working on this, and we need your help today. The frontline funders are putting their money where your mouth is, and they are matching you not once but twice. So please do visit us at freespeech.org or text 44321. Put the letters FSTV into your phone after you dial 44321, and we'll send you a secure link, and you can make your one-time or recurring donation, whatever you're comfortable with, today, and it will be matched not once but twice, actually 3 times. So it's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much for your support. Okay, so I wanted to play this for you before I go to the phone. This is Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is actually, he has not been speaking to anybody about anything because he doesn't want to hurt his dad, okay? And because he figures he's done enough damage, okay? Because he's not stupid. He's certainly not in denial about his own behavior, okay? He's a person who, owns what he did, which is very rare in this here world. And now people want to pillory him for being honest about the crap that he did when he was being crappy. But he went on his friend Moby's podcast, and he's starting to talk now, and he's saying, look, they're trying to destroy my father, and so if they can kill me, if they could, get me to relapse, or if they can, ruin my life, they'll be killing my father. They will hurt him, and that is what they're all about, and I believe that.
They're trying to destroy a presidency. And so it's not about me.
No.
In their most base way, what they're trying to do is they're trying to kill me, knowing that it will be a pain greater than my father could be able to handle. And so therefore destroying a presidency in that way.
Right. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, the amount of time that these charges in California actually, if that was brought to a jury and if a jury convicted on all of the charges, including 3 felonies and 6 misdemeanors, right? 17 years is pretty much what we're looking at. The gun charge, I've told you, that's 10 years. It's the only gun law that Republicans want to enforce, but it is the law, and the law is there. If you wanted to put him in jail, you could put him in jail for 10 years, okay? So he could go away conceivably for 27 years. You understand that would crush Joe Biden, okay? Joe Biden has said as long as he has Hunter, he has Beau, okay? Because he's already experienced so much loss in the arena of family, of children, of wife, of sister. I mean, Joe Biden is not a stranger to grief. But the one thing that would really crush him is losing his son, losing Hunter. And so, of course, that's the object of their desire. It's what they go after. Whatever will hurt that man. That's why I played you Troy Nels. Troy Nels sitting there saying, voters must be put in pain. See, this is their entire philosophy, that if you cause pain, if you cause chaos, then you can do whatever you want. You can achieve great power, and with that power, you can do really bad things. You can steal. You can lie. You can cheat. You can not pay taxes. You can take bribes. You can get payoffs. You can take $2 billion from the Saudis, and you will never, ever, ever go to jail. You will never be charged. In fact, no relative of presidents ever get charged. And they all trade on the name of, you remember, okay, so Billy Carter, that's one that comes to mind, right? Billy Carter, Jimmy Carter's brother, sold Billy beer, tried to make money that way, cashing in on his brother's famous name. Okay, that's kind of trite and nobody really got hurt kind of a thing. But what about Neil Bush? Neil Bush, the head of the Silverado Bank and Loan. Remember Neil Bush? George W. That cost us, the taxpayers, $1 billion. $1 billion for bankrupting a savings and loan. Did he ever get charged? Did he go to jail? Oh, hell no. Because that never happens. Never. Just shut up already, Greg. I mean, honestly, the only service that you provide is fodder for me. Okay? Nobody's interested in what you say. They're interested in what I say. And I think that's what bothers you the most.
That is absolutely what bothers him the most, is he holds his own opinion in such high regard. How dare you not?
Well, nobody in this audience holds him in regard. High, low. They don't even think of you. You don't even exist to them, okay? And when you call, the only thing that happens is people look to me to debunk you because they care about what I say, not what you said. Ron in Minnesota.
Hello, Randy.
Hi.
Yes, I'm Ron. I'm a nice guy. Second time caller.
Oh, hey.
Didn't get my kiss the last time.
Sloppy seconds.
What's that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I should get a kiss today because I did make a contribution to your program. I mean, well, to pre-FSTV. I'll say it that way.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, concerning Hunter Biden, I mean, as maybe it's just me, but I don't think he's a politician.
Right.
I don't think it has anything to do with government.
I don't either.
And if I'm right, everything that happened when Joe Biden was not in power, was not in the office.
That's right.
Yeah. And that guy, what's his name? His name Greg.
So just listen. Just remember that if Hunter Biden got somebody to pay his taxes, that makes him smart, right?
For Donald Trump, yeah.
Yeah, according to Donald Trump, right. So, honestly, I honestly could not care less about Hunter Biden and his tax problems because he's already paid them. And, you know, right? I mean, I couldn't get... I care more about the gun thing. I do. I care more about the gun thing. But honestly, nobody cares about the gun thing in the Republican Party because they realize they don't want any gun laws. Not even the one that Hunter Biden may have broken or did break. He said he did. Now he's pled not guilty because they've charged him and he's facing 10 years.
It's the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
All right, 47 after. It is Friday. It is Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Friday, everybody. I can't thank you enough for participating in the Free Speech TV Pledge Drive this particular week. Thank you. Nikki in Chicago.
Hey, Randy. Not sure if you heard this or not, but there's a representative from North Dakota whose son just killed a police officer Wednesday night.
Yeah, with his car. But I think, isn't he a Senator Kramer?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a senator. I think his son has mental illness. I think his son has, a problem. And so, and besides, it's sad, it's horrible, but what does that, you know what I mean? Like, am I supposed to be, do you get happy when you hear stuff like that?
No, not at all. I'm just saying the double standard, I'm sure.
Right. How it's not in the media. That would be a legit point. That you hardly hear about Senator Kramer's son having mental illness or perhaps having mental illness. I don't know if it's true or not. And getting into a chase with police and killing a police officer. I mean, that's not even anywhere on any of the news channels at all.
Right.
Right.
And I mean, Hunter Biden has an illness also too. Addiction is an illness.
Yes, it is. It's a disease. No doubt about
it.
Yeah, good point.
So it'll be, Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too, Nikki. Thank you. Yeah, I saw that. And it was like, at first I was like, oh, my God. And then I kept reading, because that's what you do, Greg. You keep reading. And it said he suffers from some sort of a mental illness. And I was like, oh, that's heartbreaking. Because not only as a family, when you have, anybody who's suffering from a mental illness, a disease of the synapses, a disease of the brain, a disease of mood disorder, a disease of, whatever plagues anxiety, okay? And somebody needs to be medicated and somebody needs to be given a lot of thought and attention just to get through the day. That's a drain on a family unit. I don't care if you're rich, especially if you're poor. It's very draining, very, very, very exhausting. Then on top of it, that person with the addiction or that person with the mental bipolar disorder or the OCD or whatever, the anxiety disorder, whatever it is, that is, taking all the air out of your family gatherings, out of your families, getting together and talking freely and laughing and having cold noodles together. Now, all of a sudden, they've killed a cop. I mean, it's horrendous. But you see, it is the Republican sycophants that actually get off on that. If Kramer would be a Democratic senator, and that happened to a Democratic senator's son, oh, my God. Not only would it be everywhere on the media, but they'd be celebrating, oh, got another one. This is how they get you. This is how they get you. Very sad. It's a sad state of, their brain. It's a sad state of affairs when you live to bitch about other people. Brother David.
Hanukkah Sameach, sister, and to the chat room as well. Hi, chat room. It certainly is a sad state of affairs.
Yes.
I've been rereading Stephen Hassan, the expert on leaving cults lately. And one of the things that has to be remembered is that one side of the political equation has become a cult. And you cannot argue with cult members. You can only love them and recognize them and take steps to go the other direction. In our case, as cogent human beings, it's Biden-Harris 2024. The whole thing with Hunter is such a nothing burger. Down the road, eventually, it's both sad and telling to me. I just don't
get him.
It's going to work.
Get Hunter.
Yeah, gotta get him.
Get him.
Hunter.
I mean, it's so sad. It's just so. And then out of one corner of his mouth, he'll be like, but get Hunter, and then in the other corner of his mouth, he'll go, get the Mexicans, fentanyl. Which is it?
It's always the other.
Yeah.
Still more of us, sister.
Yeah, there are.
Gorgeous girdles for everyone.
And not just a few. Thank you.
Exactly. Love you always.
Bye. Jahari in Michigan.
Hello, my dear. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday,
How are
Jahari.
you?
Good, you?
Oh, I'm great. This week, on Tuesday, I officially left my 40s behind and became a member of Club 50.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, tell Brett YouTube channel is down, I think.
Oh, yeah?
So,
okay.
yeah, but that
He says
guy,
it's okay. He says it's on.
Okay,
It had to get
cool.
restarted. We had a little technical hiccup, and we had to restart on another.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Get Marvin the Martian attention. But anyway, do you think that guy is losing this stuff about Hunter Biden? Wait until he's acquitted.
Yeah, right.
I honestly think that Hunter Biden will be acquitted. I mean, they're losing their stuff over Taylor Swift being.
So let me just say this, Jahari. This is not going to trial, okay? This man would never have been charged. Why? Because his taxes are paid. They're paid in full and have been since 2021. It's now almost 2024. Okay.
Yeah.
California has a very busy docket. Okay, and there is no way that a prosecutor in California who has a limited budget. Who is, literally bringing people to the bar of justice for crimes, has the time to take somebody whose taxes have been paid in full to court to say, 5 years ago you didn't pay your taxes in full in a timely manner. That's just not a case anybody would bring, period, end of story. So what's going to happen now is there's going to be the same result that happened in Delaware, except this time it will be separated. The tax thing will happen in California, and the gun thing will happen in Delaware. They are now separated, and a judge will not have any objections to accepting a plea deal. She didn't like the fact that these two things were mixed together. She didn't like the fact that the judge was going to be put in charge of, making sure he went to whatever that rehabilitation thing is. When you get a gun, when you shouldn't have had a gun, you have to go to some sort of intervention type thing.
Diversion program.
Diversion. Thank you. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And she didn't want to be, around that. She said, it's not for me to supervise his rehabilitation. So there's going to be a plea deal on the tax thing. And poor Greg is going to just have his jaw drop and say, that's not fair.
Well, tough titty for Greg.
Right.
But the other thing I want to talk to you about is the campaign. I mean, we saw that we had some great news, economic news today.
Yes.
And
just what I wanted to spend the day talking about.
Yeah, people aren't paying attention, but they will once Biden and the Democrats start campaigning for real. And now I wanted to ask you, Al, the kind of person I am, I like to face things, face threats head on. But because the odds are what they are, the stakes are what they are, and the threat is grim, I think that we should be playing in the Republican primary and vote for Christie or Vivek or whatever.
Oh, not him.
So that Trump doesn't get the nomination.
Yeah.
We should vote for somebody for anybody so that Trump doesn't get the nomination, because Trump doesn't become president if he doesn't get the nomination. And we can deal with I think Biden could beat a Nikki Haley. I think Biden could beat a Ron DeSantis. I know that he could beat a Vivek Ramaswamy. I know that he could beat any of the right-wing lunch meat that's on that stage right now.
Did you just call people lunch meat?
I absolutely did call them lunch meat. But my entire point is we got to keep Trump from becoming the nominee because I hate this talk of inevitability that Trump is going to be the nominee. He can't become the nominee until he gets that nomination at the convention. And the only way we could do that is to play around in their primary and vote for Christie and make sure that Donald Trump doesn't get the delegates so that he can become that nominee. Because guess what? He doesn't become the nominee, he goes to freaking jail because he will be convicted.
Well, even if he is the nominee, he goes to freaking jail.
But the courts will entertain all these arguments of a sitting president and all this other stuff.
Well, he's not a sitting president, but yeah, he thinks that there's candidate privilege now, right?
Right. And I can see the courts entertaining that, but it doesn't happen if he doesn't get that nomination.
I hear you.
Stop him from getting that nomination.
Right, and keep him as far away from running as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. You too. Have a good weekend. I hear you. I don't know how many people will do it, but I hear you.